So how in the world are million-dollar businesses built? Awkward pause. Like this.
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue. It is something you are.
All right, so businesses are built on systems. Everybody knows that. In order to build a big business, it's built on systems. But how is a business built all the way up to $1 million and up? And so in the beginning, you don't really know what your systems are. You have no idea what you're doing. You're just kind of guessing. You're just like, oh, let me do this, let me do this. And you're just kind of guessing, really. And that's what you're doing in the very beginning. For example, like my prospecting system at the very beginning, I literally had no idea what I was doing. I would just call, send emails, and I'm just like, I would say whatever I had to say. And I had no system whatsoever. And that's how most businesses are. I mean, I'd be like, hey, my name is Benji Bruce. I'm a mentalist. I'm a speaker. And hey, and I would just talk to people. And most businesses are built like that, where you're just doing whatever you can think of at the time. And I wasn't doing it right at the very beginning, and I didn't know I wasn't doing it right. I was just sending out emails, and I was just hoping people would call me back or just whatever. But I wasn't doing it right at the very beginning. And I woke up every single day asking myself, how do I find events? Like every single day I woke up, even though I did it the day before, I would wake up again. I'm like, how do I find events? There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. It didn't really seem like it was working yesterday. There's got to be a better way. And so I was doing that every single day. And eventually I put it all into a document. And so I listed all the different ways I could think of. I put it into a document. That way when I woke up, I could just look at this freaking sheet. I could just pick number 3 or whatever and just find events doing that. And so in the beginning, you don't really have anything planned out. Like my content systems that I have right now for just creating content and all this stuff, at first, I just created content and I just put it on the website. I didn't schedule it, nothing. I was just like, oh, let me create this video or let me write this blog or whatever. I just created it, just threw it up there and just whatever. And now I eventually I created checklists for everything. Created a checklist for how to post, how to schedule something on the blog. I created a checklist for everything. And that way, when I hire somebody, I can just give them the checklist. I can tell them what to do, but they have this checklist. Like, okay, make sure that the headline is there. Make sure the URL matches up with the email URL, and bam, and it's this whole checklist. And the way systems are built, the way any business is built, $1 million business, $1 billion business, the way any business is built, is the system is built either by buying the system. This is like a franchise where you buy a Starbucks or a McDonald's, you buy a franchise, or you build it over time. Those are the only 2 ways that your systems are built. You either buy it or you build it over time. Building over time is the dumbest way to do it. But I mean, it's the way most people do it because you can't afford to pay for like a Starbucks or a McDonald's at the very beginning. But building it over time is the worst way to do it because it takes a lot of time. What you do in 5 years could have been done in 5 minutes just by buying the system. And so you only want to buy a system if you can afford it, obviously. Otherwise, you're going to have to build it over time. I wasn't able to build my systems, my prospecting, my emailing, my content, all that stuff. I wasn't able to build it just by buying it. I built it over time because I was a dummy. And at the time, I didn't really know anyone who was selling systems for what I was doing. But I built it over time because I just didn't know what to do, so I was just guessing as to what to do, and by guessing, I figured out, okay, this isn't what I should be doing. And then I would use software like Yesware to say, okay, I know people are opening my emails when I prospect. I know people are opening this email more than this email, so let me use this email more. And then I would do that, and you're building over time. The way it works is you learn something, you implement, then you adjust, and it just goes into a circle. So you learn, implement, and you build over time. And that's how you build your systems. And you really want to just speed up your learning curve by recording everything that you do. So if I were to go back and I were to do this all over again, what I would do differently is at the very beginning, when I made the first phone call, when I found the first event, I would have recorded what I was doing. I would have said, okay, the way I found this event is I went to Google and I typed in sales conference. Okay, cool. And I would have recorded that. I would have wrote that down somewhere. And you build your systems like that, to where every action you take, you write a blog post, every action you take a screenshot of it, you record it, you write it down, and you build your systems like that over time. And you'll just get more done in a shorter amount of time by doing this, because you'll start to see where you can improve your systems. So you'll realize, why am I doing this when I could just copy and paste it real quick? And you'll realize I can be way more efficient by doing it this way, because you recorded everything. This is very similar to if you sit down and you record every single day what you're doing. Well, every second of your day, you record it. Every second, you're like, okay. I woke up at 7:03, and then from 7:03 to 7:40 I did this, from 7:40 to 7, and you look at everything you did. You record everything you did for that day. You'll be able to step back and see man, I waste a lot of time on Facebook. Oh, I waste a lot of time doing this. Oh man, I really only spent 2 hours on my business? Man, it felt like so much. And so that's what happens with your systems. When you get the systems ready to go and you start working on the systems, you realize man, I could make this way more efficient. And so the way any $1 million business is built, the way any $1 billion business is built, is by building the systems over time, or either over time or by buying it just outright. And so when it comes to building a system, just make sure that, I have no idea what I was going to say, but awkward.